All right, so
Got it.
really excited to have the EtherCards founder Andras Kristof here with me today. So first of all, I'm Owen O'Sullivan from NFT News Today, where our aim is to learn about and share the best NFT projects out there.
Mhm.
And Andras, your project fits the bill.
Thank you.
EtherCards and dynamic supercharged NFT has really excited us.
Mhm.
Before we get into dynamic NFTs and EtherCards, can you just give me a little introduction and just tell me a little bit, just very briefly about yourself, please?
Sure. Sure. I've been doing technology for more than I want to remember. I did big and small companies. I did startups, and some of them were quite successful. And after I exited from one of the great startups that I had the fortune to work with the founders,
Mhm.
I started to work on my own stuff, and I started to get interested in blockchain technology. So in 2013, we actually built and deployed the first Bitcoin ATM in Asia. That was actually deployed in 2014 February, but very quickly after that, we realized that it's not going to be like the best business ever to run Bitcoin ATMs. So we wanted to do something more, and we forked Ripple because there was no Ethereum yet. We removed XRP because it's not actually needed. And we added ring signatures from Monero, and we built distributed asset management systems where you could actually deploy your own tokens, create and deploy your own tokens. And that was in 2014. Again, it was way before Ethereum. But as soon as Ethereum came out in beta in 2014, late 2014, we realized that it's going to be way better than the technology that we built. We started to work with Ethereum from beta days. We started to work with smart contracts, and we worked with many of the big parties of the ecosystem, including the Ethereum Foundation, Consensus, and several other parties, usually working with and working for others. We also started working on in the NFT space in about 3 years ago, so a long time ago, way before it became actually fashionable. And we built interesting projects. We built ticketing systems with NFTs. We built a project which was able to connect physical objects with NFTs in a meaningful way, not in a gimmicky way as we see today, but it was actually a meaningful connection where an NFC chip had enough power to create its own wallet, and we could actually send the NFT into the NFC chip. So basically, the object owned its own NFT. So there was no way to separate the two. Anyway, it was like almost 3 years ago. It was fun, but we learned a lot about NFTs as well. Again, we did ticketing. For example, we did the NFT ticketing for the last DEF CON, and we're probably going to do the NFT ticketing for the next DEF CON as well. And we worked on several projects, and we wanted to build something that can be used by any kind of projects, even open source projects on the blockchain, to start a monetization and funding strategy for themselves that is not an ICO. So we started to work on a generic system that could actually do funding and monetization using NFTs in a meaningful way. And the benefit of this system was that all kinds of projects could use it, including projects that did not issue their own tokens. And once we developed it, it turned out that it can do way more. It could actually be used by any kind of community to engage and monetize themselves. So it could be a community around this open source project as we originally designed, but it could also be a community of a celebrity, of an athlete, of a musician, of an artist, of a writer, of a service provider of any kind using blockchain. And this community management and engagement system could actually provide funding and monetization support. So this is what actually built, and when we had something operational, then we wanted to use it and try it for ourselves. So basically, we ourselves became the pilot of our own project, of our own dynamic NFT project, and we issued the 10,000 Ether cards in mid-March, and then we had excellent traction. We now have an incredible community, and the launch gave us a lot of attention from third parties. So we started to work with a lot of different parties and partners. We partnered with Chainlink. We are partnering with Engine. We are partnered with Brave. We partnered with LaMelo Ball, with Steve Aoki, and several other projects that are coming up. So it's been an incredible ride so far with this project, and we are looking for some excellent releases very soon.
Sounds great. And now you're here, Andras.
Yeah,
sounds excellent. Sounds excellent. Yeah, there's a couple of things you mentioned that I'd love to talk about with you a little bit, like the physical NFTs, the physical connections was really interesting. The artistic side as well, and the Chainlink partnership as well, I thought was really interesting. But just to begin with, so for our viewers and readers who may not be familiar with dynamic NFTs, can you give them an introduction and tell us how you think you guys will pioneer really exciting new ways to use NFTs?
May I show it? It will take like 2 minutes, and then I think it will give a lot. It will worth 1,000 words. I think.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Let me share my screen then, please. Sure. Okay. Okay. Can you see the cards?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the NFTs that we sold on the 15th of March. As you can see, they look like NFTs. They have pretty awesome art on them, but these particular pieces can do way more than display fantastic art. Let's say this is one of my favorites. This is Wizards from Dirty Robot. And as you can see, this is a nice NFT, but you can turn it around, and on the back you can see this, we call it accidental collaboration, because we had 15 different artists creating 5 layers, and those layers are being randomly assigned to the card. So each card has a different art. This one, for example, has, as you can see, these 5 layers. One from Dirty Robot, 2 of them are common, and we have one Zsuzsa Natashi and the David Sabo, and these create this art. This is just vanity in some ways, but it creates beautiful combinations, and people are looking for specific artists and specific combinations. The more important part on the card, why we call them dynamic, is this 15 on the top right corner. This 15 indicates that this card have 15 different traits. The traits are features and function that make sense in the context in which the NFTs were issued. So these NFTs were issued for ourselves. So these traits make sense in our own community. So, for example, we have this reforged trait. I'm not going to go through all of them, just maybe 3 or 4 or 2 or 3. Sure. So this reforged trait, if you have this card and you use this trait, you will be able to re-roll these layers, and you can get a different set of layers, accidental collaboration layers on your card. The art drop trait, it's a passive trait. It will whenever we create a new drop from some artist, some of those NFTs will be randomly and freely dropped on the cards who has the art drop trait. At the free ticket trade, if there is a participating ticketing event, you buy a ticket, then you will get an extra ticket for free as long as you have this free ticket on your card, and so on. Different trades provide different features and functionalities. Of course, for example, for LaMelo Ball or Steve Aoki, the features and the trades are different. You may get a discount on their upcoming album, or discount on their merchandise shop, or maybe a VIP ticket to their next concert or game, or even like a redeemable trade, which you can, if you engage with it, then you will get like a jersey or something from, for example, from LaMelo Ball. So the trades make sense in the context of the artist or of the athlete or the actual community who are creating these cards. The traits are designed on the cards to create engagement in that specific community. And one more last thing that I want to show you. As you could see, these cards are pretty dynamic. They have a lot of interesting features, and we made a lot of effort to make sure that the same kind of dynamic nature is actually available on different platforms, for example, OpenSea as well. As you can see on OpenSea, you can turn the card around, and you can even look at the trades, and very soon you will be actually able to interact with the trades on OpenSea. So that's why we call them dynamic NFTs, because they are dynamic, they have utilities and the features that provide extra utility and extra usability for these cards, in addition to the artistic value.
Fantastic.
And that's I think this is the short demo that I can give.
Well, it seems like it's really connecting people. Like, for example, like you said, LaMelo Ball and Steve Aoki. So they're using their dynamic NFTs very successfully, and they're like you said, they're connecting with people in whole new ways with these dynamic NFTs, which we found really interesting. Any more big names lined up for using these dynamic NFTs at the moment?
Yes, but I cannot talk about it.
Okay, all right.
We cannot announce it ahead of time because obviously we have to sign NDAs, but much more is coming. If everything goes well, the next big name should drop in 6 days. So
we look forward
so it's going to be very, very quick. Also, we are moving on to phase 2 with LaMelo Ball and with Steve Aoki as well. So it is the other thing what is important on these cards as well, that just because they have been issued, it doesn't mean that you cannot change it. You as the issuer can actually issue more trades on it even after they were deployed and sold, and even you can create so-called forges that makes these NFTs very gamifiable. For example, in the upcoming Steve Aoki collaboration, there will be forges where you can put on Steve's specific NFTs in order to redeem some very rare NFTs. So this kind of gamifications can be and will be added even after the NFTs were issued.
Cool, absolutely cool. That kind of leads me to the next question. So I was going to talk about the Chainlink's partnership and how that works. But I think this is a good point to ask you about the self-service platform, which will be available, I think, next month in September.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Yes.
For sure.
And it's so far so good. We are on track to get it done.
So, and I just saw the AMA you had. You said it's going fantastic, which sounds really great. So I just wanted to ask you, like, who, we've got LaMelo Ball and we've got these people using them, but with this
Mhm.
self-service platform, like, who do you see using it? Can it be applied to commerce or to different types of lifestyles? And will it be for people who aren't basketball players or celebrities?
Absolutely. I think anybody can use them. I mean, we are seeing the several collections that are coming out with I don't want to name them
Sure.
like several parts of cats and things like that. That and all kind of different this kind of um, collections coming out. So these kind of collections, by definition, can be made with this upcoming platform. You can actually specify several layers. You can upload the different images. You can create the randomization. You can select the price, and then you will be able to deploy the whole thing for yourself. It doesn't even have to be under Ether cards. We don't necessarily want to create a platform and the marketplace. There are fantastic marketplaces out there, for example, OpenSea,
Mhm.
and by no means we want to compete with them.
Mhm.
What we are providing is actually gamification and utilization for the NFTs and the ability to issue these kind of sets for yourself. And very soon the platform will gain more abilities. For example, you will be able to create blind bags, so you issue your own set, but then you can specify that you don't want to sell the NFTs, you want to sell blind bags. How many kind of blind bags, what are the chances of certain NFTs to become to be in the blind bag, and all of that. You set it up once and then you can start selling, and you can issue forges where you can say that as long as you have this, and this NFT, you can put them into this page, and you can get these NFTs from the blind bags. And then once you fulfill all the criteria, once the user fulfills all the criteria, they can burn those NFTs and get something very rare instead. So that is also going to be part of the self-service platform. So it's going to be everything that we do, including the trades, including all the functionality, is going to be issued and will be available in the self-service platform as well.
Excellent. Well, good luck with the launch next month. That's we'll
Thank
definitely
you.
be following that.
It's not going to be a full launch. It's going to be a first step. I think it's going to take several months before everything else will be rolled out.
Well, that sounds like a good thing. Let's get it right.
Yeah,
Get it right.
yeah. Yeah.
So before we move on to talk about the battle
Okay.
royale event, I just wanted to ask you about the partnership with Chainlink and really the Chainlink's the verifiable random function or the
Yeah.
VRF.
VRF. Yeah.
So I really want to know how it separates or how it helps separate your dynamic NFTs from the rest. How does it work, and how does it benefit Ether cards and card holders?
VRF is one thing. VRF is one thing, although a very important one. VRF brings something to the blockchain that does not exist on the blockchain, which is randomness. There are several projects that have been trying to create like random drops or hide something with pseudo randomness on the blockchain. Like there was that famous one, I don't remember the name, where they issued like 5 NFTs and one NFT had like 1 Bitcoin on it,
Mhm.
and you had to burn the NFT to figure out whether yours had the Bitcoin or not.
Okay, yeah.
So, but they used pseudo randomness. So somebody looked at the code, they figured out, and they could actually pinpoint which NFT had the Bitcoin.
Hmm.
Blockchain natively does not have randomness. Everything is can be calculated.
Sure.
So what Chainlink does with VRF is an incredibly important service for anything, any use case that has any kind of randomness or requires any kind of randomness. Basically, they have oracles that provide verifiable random numbers that can be used on the blockchain, and it can be used in a way that it cannot be front run. So you could actually create real surprises and randomness and actually games on the blockchain. Without randomness, it's extremely difficult to create games. So that is one of the most important things that Chainlink provides us, but that's not the only one. The other
Sure.
thing that they give us is oracles. So because the dynamic NFTs are not only dynamic because you can turn them around and you can click on them,
Sure.
but they're also dynamic because they can be changed by real world events. For example, it is possible for us to create an NFT of a basketball player that will change based on the results of the games of the player. It could
Sure.
even
Yeah.
it could even happen that if your team loses, the NFT gets damaged, or any kind of fun things. And Chainlink provides verifiable data coming from the real world. For example, sports event
Yeah. Yeah.
data, and that is a service that is extremely important because this is a so-called Oracle service, because it is very important to get the right data on the blockchain, because
Sure.
blockchains are very stupid. They cannot differentiate. They take the data, and we need to make sure that it's right. So that's why the service that Chainlink provides is very important for us.
You're connecting to the real world. You're connecting
Yeah.
to off chain. You're connecting to, like you said,
Yes.
the team loses. The fan feels sad, but he feels a bit sadder because his card is
And yeah, and very importantly, it cannot be manipulated. The data cannot be manipulated in a way that somebody figures out and sends the data to the blockchain that the team won. So everything gets messed up.
Sure.
So that is what Chainlink does. The data they bring on the blockchain is extremely reliable.
Excellent. Excellent. So, Andras, I'd like to move on to the Battle Royale event.
Sure.
So it's a game for card holders.
Yes.
There'll be a chance for players to win some pretty impressive prizes. So we got CryptoPunks here and Meebits. We did a feature on Meebits a few months ago, and some of them were selling for incredible amounts.
Like CryptoPunks, and
Yeah,
just to put some numbers on this, because I think it's very important. We are
sure.
talking about 30 CryptoPunks and 30 Meebits,
Yeah,
30. So
right.
I don't want to. I think knowing the floor price of punks right now, it is a huge amount.
Mm-hmm.
And people holding the right cards can enter the game and win these punks.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important that the game is not it's not a game of chance. This is a skill-based game. This is a deck building game. We are keeping it as simple as possible, but it is still going to depend on your skill to win one of these punks.
Well, that was a question I had for you. So, as you've said, the core design feature of the Battle Royale is that it requires minimal luck and a lot of skill, or it's a skills-based event.
Yeah.
For someone like me, I've never participated in a card battle, but I want to win a Meebit or a CryptoPunk.
Yeah.
So what sort of skills do I need to learn to win me a Meebit?
As long as somebody has any kind of gaming skills, as long as somebody ever played any kind of card game, including ideally like a little bit of Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or anything like that, This is not more complicated than that. Or if you ever played, for example, Hearthstone, this is way simpler.
The girl
way
robot
simpler.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's way simpler than Hearthstone. So the game itself is going to be an auto battler, like an auto chess game. So you don't need to stay online. You have time to create your deck. You can actually see the deck of your opponent from the previous round. So you can actually make your research. You can see what you can expect, and you can build up your own deck. And then everybody has the same average resources, so more money will not get you better chances. So you build your deck, and then you submit your deck. When all the decks are submitted, then the battle will actually happen off sync, so you don't need to stay up on a specific time or anything like that. And then the results and all the logs will be deployed on the blockchain, so everybody can verify that that there was no shenanigans happening, that everything was really by the rules. And then the results will be revealed, the winners will advance, and it is basically a battle royale system where you can advance every round if you beat your opponent. But it's going to be a double elimination system. So even if you lose, you can fight your way back to the upper bracket.
Okay. Right, I'm going to have to learn those skills. So that's really clear.
It's basically you will be able to get a set of cards, and you need to put them into the right order. That's about it. And after that, the battle itself is going to be again off sync. You don't need to have like skills of like reflexes or anything like that.
Okay, excellent. So Andras, I hope you don't mind me asking this. So you said in a recent AMA, just with some emotion, I thought that getting the punks and the Meebits out finally was, I think you said, one of the most important things for you to do at the moment. So that struck me a little bit. So I really wanted to know why it's so important to you.
Sure. We had plans to distribute the punks much earlier, but we could not follow up because of legal reasons. And so we are sitting on these 30 punks, 30 Meebits, which we want to get to the community as soon as we can. And we are building this game, and I don't want to. So now we are actually exploring different avenues that will let us do this. So the worst comes to worst is going to be all on Battle Royale, but with a little bit of luck, we can do it faster and in different ways as well. But I just cannot make a promise on that yet because we don't have the clearance yet.
Sure. Well, it's clear that it's very important to you, and that's
yeah. I mean, this belongs to the community, and this it really kills me that we've got them, we made the promise, but I cannot follow through because we want to make sure that we follow every law.
Absolutely.
Because this is not an anonymous project, so we have to.
Sure. Thanks for your honesty. It's brilliant. Thanks, Andras. I'd like to move on to talk about the artists, if that's all right. So you've got some really exciting artists on board, like Dirty Robot and Robot Dragon. I was having a look at both of those artists earlier today. Really cool. Really, really cool. Looks amazing. I read that Dirty Robot will be developing an NFT series. He's creating an entire Ether Cards living avatar collection, which really struck me. So, how important are these kind of artists for your project for Ether Cards?
they are extremely important. When we started the whole project, they had a lot of trust in us, and they gave us a lot of art without actually knowing much about us at all. And they were definitely a significant fundamental part of our initial success. So artists are extremely important for us, and because of the huge incoming interest that we experienced after the sale, we actually delayed the self-service platform, which meant for the artist, in order to fulfill the request from the partners, because we thought that on the long term this is going to be better for the project. So that's why the other thing that I am indebted to is to the artists, because we want to get the self-service platform out for them as soon as possible, because they deserve it, and because it will help them to issue their own collections and connect with their own community, issue their own trades, and basically create their own cards and own art.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've nearly answered my next question there. So I was going to first of all, the accidental art idea. I love it. I'm a visual guy. I love that stuff. I really think it's incredible. So you got the layers of art, the backgrounds, the elements, the main image. So we've met quite a lot of amazing artists recently. Well, I think you've explained how they can use the self-service platform when it comes out to use it and to get out some really cool stuff.
One more thing, if I may, regarding
Absolutely.
the platform. One of the things that we did for the artists, and then soon they will be able to actually utilize that all the artists that participated in the original Ether cards drop, all these amazing people that you can see behind me, they all got one Ether card as part of their composition. And that Ether card has a very special artist trait that will allow them to use the platform and every single feature of the platform for free forever. So this is I think only 70 cards out of the 10,000 has this, because we had about 70 artists helping with us. And this is one of the ways you can utilize the platform, that you can issue this kind of trade that provides very, very high benefits.
So you could probably see artists collaborating on these together and getting together, and that's really cool. That's excellent. So just like I said, a few more questions. I mentioned earlier at the start of the interview that I was going to ask you about NFTs and physical objects. So I read your blog yesterday. You talked about the connections between NFTs and physical objects, temporary and permanent connections. The permanent connections blew my mind a little bit. Can you tell us about how physical objects can own NFTs?
So basically, the problem has been always in the space when somebody's tried to do an NFT that represents a physical object, that is technically impossible to ensure that the same person owns the physical object and the NFT. So I could have both of them, then I sell the NFT to you and sell the physical object to somebody else. And now there is no connection anymore, so you cannot actually say that the NFT represents a physical object. So the only way to do this, only way to fix it, as much as I can tell, is to use some advanced NFC technology. You know, the NFTs, these near field circuits that you have in specific cards. Some of them are advanced enough to not only provide a static code, but also to program. So when you touch your phone on that card, that actually boots up a small processor, and the processor can actually run software which is inside the chip. And those chips, the best chips, are good enough to actually implement, let's say, an Ethereum wallet. So it is actually possible for them to generate their own wallet, because they even have random number generators, and issue to you their public address. You can program them in a way that they will never reveal their private key, so you cannot know the private key, but you can have their address, so you can send the NFT onto that address. After you did that, the object owns the NFT, and there is no way to remove it anymore, because you don't know the private key, and the object's programming will prevent them from sending it away. What you can do, you can talk with the processor, you can communicate with the NFT, you can update the NFT, for example, with your name or whatever, but you can never ever separate the NFT from the object. And basically, you own the object, and by proxy, you own the NFT, but only by proxy. You cannot touch the NFT, you can talk with the object, and the object can update the NFT. So in this way, you have a real and unbreakable connection between a physical object and an NFT. And that is the only way to get this done in a permanent way. And that's what we have.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So do you see that happening relatively soon? These chips, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually had it working like 2 years ago.
Okay.
We just 2 years ago, just nobody gave a damn about NFTs. So it was. We still have the tech, but we yet to utilize it in a larger scale.
I think the time is right to give it another go. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Class.
Absolutely
brilliant. All right, so just two more questions, Andras. Just one for you personally. Two kind of personal ones, I guess. So I just watched another AMA that you've had. I wanted to ask you personally, and I wanted you to tell our readers and our viewers, how does it feel to lead this community, to lead a community who expect progress, to expect innovation. They expect you to be in the hot seat every week. By it looks like I've seen quite a few of your AMAs now. So you must have huge motivation. So where does that come from now in this community, the NFT space, and with you with EtherCards?
It is a community that I have privileged to work with and to work for. The motivation that comes from the community. We've got an incredibly engaged community with members who are actively helping with the project. It has been multiple times that we actually engage community members to get stuff done. And even now, we've got groups of these people working with us and working for us, but mostly working with us to further the project. So it's a very humbling and humbling experience, and the motivation comes from them. Their interest and their drive makes us do our best.
Yeah, I totally agree. So we haven't been in this bed, certainly not as long as you, but we found the community to be so supportive of what different people are doing and trying all the time. So yeah, like you said, it's a privilege. We agree. We totally agree. We totally agree. Before I let you go, Andras, one more question, and you probably, I don't know if you lived this down or not, but for those who don't know, Andras promised to dye his hair hot pink if he didn't follow through with the promise to get the Ether card traits delivered to the blockchain.
Yes.
Now your hair is in pink.
Yep.
I think that's a great way actually to illustrate to people, to show people that you do what you say you're going to do. So that kind of got me thinking, is there anything else related to Ether cards which you would be willing to bet the color of your hair on? Maybe neon green, perhaps, or something?
This is that I think that we will come through. I think that is what I would bet my hair on. Basically, we put our life in terms of professional life on this project. So this is it. There is no next thing. This is it. We head off to an excellent start, supported by an excellent community, excellent partners, excellent clients. This is ours to lose. So basically, this is it for us, and that gives us the motivation to get it done.
Sure.
So yeah, it is. Yeah, that's it.
Well, Andras, may your hair stay the same color for many years.
Thank you. I will try.
Well, listen, Andras. That's all the questions I have for you. It's really been a privilege for me and us to talk to you as well, because, like I said, we're really excited about the project. We will follow the project, and we wish you all the luck.
Let us know how can we help. Maybe we can collaborate. Maybe you can also could use a set of NFTs that make sense in your own community. So that's something that we can actually discuss and see.
Sure, sounds absolutely brilliant. Thanks so
Thank
much.
You very much.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
And have a nice day and happy Friday.
You too. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Bye.